I want you to picture this. I'm on a hike, and the sunset, woo, it's incredible. All oranges and purples. I pull out my phone, and for the next 15 minutes, I'm not exactly admiring nature. I'm contorting myself, trying to find the perfect filter, the perfect angle, capturing a moment. And of course, with every great photo is an even better caption. Hashtag blessed, hashtag nature lover. But for these 15 minutes, I wasn't really focusing on the view, more on the frame. We spend so much time of our lives trying to fit into a frame. And often, it's not the one we chose. Generally, when we're born and throughout life, we're given a frame. It could be a cultural belief, a family expectation, a narrow stereotype, anything we're eventually imposed to follow. And sometimes we don't even get to choose the coloring or the shading. Other people color it against our will. They tell you who you are, what you should believe, and what you should study. Therefore, we become constantly trapped, constantly trying to fix ourselves in order to please and match other people's expectations of us. I know this trap all too well because for a long time, my frame was torture. Before the pandemic, I was always the shy kid. I was awkward, I dimmed my light, and I never stood up for myself. By grade 9, you could say I really hit my lowest point. I was surrounded by toxic friends and people who never stood by my side. My grades were the worst they had ever been, and crying became like a habit because I felt like a complete loser. School wasn't a place of growth. It was an obligation. Every morning it was a battle just to get out of bed. My frame felt like a cage, and it was impossible to just break out. There was also this game that I always used to play. I called it the prove yourself game. It basically meant that I had to prove that I'm enough, prove that I'm smart enough, always proving something to not even be respected, barely accepted. But it came to a point where I asked myself, what if I didn't have to prove anything anymore? What if I didn't want that frame people put me in the first place? What if I wanted the big picture? The one I color, the one I choose, the one I celebrate, the one where I can pull the imaginary into reality. I mean, I always used to hear that high school years are either the best or the worst years of your life. Therefore, during that summer after grade 9, something shifted. I looked back at that dark year and realized I never want to live through that again. I wanted to shape my life in a way that actually makes me happy. But I know it would be hard. Taking control back of your own life when people already have a labeled frame for you is obviously exhausting. But I knew that the pain of staying in the dark, knowing my potential, was even greater than the risk of taking on action and changing. And with that, grade 10 became my revolution. I took it one shaky decision at a time. It started with the most basic stuff, by solving math problems in front of my whole class. It continued by joining my school's badminton club, the missionaries group, finally reaching the top 10 of my class, and a bunch of other new cool stuff eventually came along too. I noticed that when you change your internal picture, when you start seeing the situation you're in a different perspective, the world starts reacting differently. Teachers were nicer. New amazing people entered my life. And I finally gained so much respect. I had so much peace of mind in knowing that my life was getting better by just being me, by doing things I love and dreamt of for so long. Even in grade 11, I was finally seeing who my real friends were, and even on the hardest of days, I showed up stronger than ever. But here's the thing I had to learn during that revolution. I didn't have to do it all on my own. My closest friends and family showed me that receiving love wasn't a crime. They showed me that I could be cared for exactly as I am, without a disguise or pretending to be someone else. And speaking of pretending, there was a time where I was so preoccupied to be like other people just to fit in, while in reality I was just losing touch of myself. As Oscar Wilde once said, and I quote, "Just be yourself. Everyone else is already taken." Everyone else was already taken. And I finally found who I really was. But the first person who showed me that I could really receive love was my mother. She's right here in the audience with us. Throughout my whole life, I saw her endure a lot. And even on the days where being a mom was too hard on her, she still managed to gather all the affection that she had and gave it to me and protected me. And for that, I will always be grateful. That brings us to grade 12, to this exact moment. If you want me to be honest with you, I didn't always know what TED Talk meant. I discovered it through my friends last year who participated in this incredible event. And I couldn't stop imagining myself on this stage ever since. Now here's the catch. When the time came along to sign up for the auditions, my heart was racing. And my mind was screaming, "What are you doing? You'll just embarrass yourself out there. And you know you'll never get accepted. There's no way it's gonna turn out good for you." But I eventually stopped listening to the fear and signed up for the auditions. Little did I know, not even a week after I auditioned, my name was the first on the accepted list. And it's with that momentum that I got accepted into my dream university and my dream major. And how powerful is that? You can achieve all your dreams. Now, you may be wondering if I did go beyond the frame or not. Well, I think you realized by now that I wasn't exactly given the best frame to begin with. And by the way, I was talking about my past experiences, that maybe I'm still carrying hurt from the past. Or maybe sometimes I am. But most importantly, I carry with me the lessons I've been taught along the way. Because they taught me to never settle for less than I'm worth. But most importantly, I found out what power and confidence mean to me. Don't get me wrong though, as a young man today, I don't always feel like a powerhouse or even really know what power means. I think it's so hard at times to know how to harness your power and confidence in a way that isn't defined by external validation or by pleasing others, especially when we're constantly navigating so many opinions and expectations. I even found myself so confused as to how many versions of myself could exist in only one body. To this day, there are people who still know me as this shy and awkward kid who basically never talks. There are people who know me as someone super energetic and super positive, like a bomb ready to explode. There are people who know me as someone super confident and super fearless, the kind of guy who always has a solution to any impossible problem. There are people who think that I can't sing. But not everything is positive, though. Some may see me as an unbearable person, and ultimately there are people who think they know me, but they have no idea of who I really am. But even with all of that, it kind of forced me to figure out who I am and what I value when I'm alone. I found out that power and confidence to me aren't about arrogance, being the loudest person in the room, or achieving more than someone else. I found out that power and confidence to me are all about authenticity, taking risk, being unapologetically you, and being brave enough to put yourself out there even when you don't know how to. So to truly answer your question, if I did go beyond the frame or not, I'd say I'm still a work in progress. Because the bad news is, there will always be room to evolve. But the cool news is, there will always be room to evolve. And so I want to say to you, Start to shape your own life today. Whatever happens, just choose to live. Be a sponge out there. Absorb all kinds of experiences, whether they are good or bad, because nothing you go through can teach you a lesson. See, when you stop trying to prove yourself to other people, they will have to prove that they deserve a place in your life. They will have to earn their place in the picture you are making. When it comes to beginning a new life, many people tend to wait for a big event, like, I don't know, maybe a new year or a new job opportunity. While in reality, change doesn't happen all at once. It takes time. And it starts with a little decision inside yourself that pushes you to a new path. And trust me when I say that you will fall, but when you get back up again, it's not a sign that you failed, but a sign of courage, a sign that you believe in yourself enough to know something better is possible. To truly go beyond the frame is to stop trying to fit into a small, perfect, suffocating portrait and to embrace the unique mural you can have. So allow me to introduce myself. My name is Jean Helou, and no one gets to tell me who I should be or what I should do. And if my speech managed to inspire, help, or motivate even one person, then my job is successful. Thank you so much.